Hello everybody, you've joined us for our contortion class, our stretch towards contortion class. In this class we do a lot of flexibility work to help with our stretching and our flexibility in order to be able to do some of the more advanced flexible moves that are required by acrobatics and gymnasts and circus artists and things like that. But alongside being flexible you need to be strong. So it's really important that we are working on the conditioning side. It's more important if we're going to get really flexible and bendy that we have strong muscles to help support them so we don't get injured. Okay, now for this class it's all about staying warm. You're not going to need massive amount of space. I might ask you to get props like yoga blocks if you have them. If you don't have them, things like cushions or pads. Again, if you've got a gym mat, get that out. That's going to be great. We've got a mat behind us to use. But keep your socks on, keep your jumpers on. You know, this is all about keeping our muscles warmed, and we're not going to be jumping or spinning around or anything like that. So that's fine for this video. Okay, so the stretches that we're going to work on today, we're going to work on our hips and our backs. Thinking about working towards something called a Cobra Handstand. Okay. So we're going to keep working on those muscles to get them really strong. Now the first thing I'd like to do is show you what a Cobra Handstand looks like. So I'm going to ask Evie to demonstrate this for us. Okay, so we're just going to move to one side. I'm going to get her to do it forwards and sideways onto the camera. So a Cobra Handstand is a handstand where you're curling your legs all the way over so your feet meet towards your shoulders. Are you ready, Evie?
Yeah, I don't have some stretch though.
So if she goes over, that means she's not used her strength to control it, so it's a test for her. Off you go. Oh, she's gone over. So we're going to try that again. She's going to try and hold it and step back out. There we go. Okay. All right, so I'm going to get her to do it one more time facing the camera. So she's coming forward. So what you should see from the audience point of view is you should see her head and her feet. Okay, so she'll be trying to keep her head up towards you, but she's trying to get her feet over towards her shoulders. Okay, you ready? And back. Good. Well done, Evie. Okay, so we're going to work on the muscles and for both our strength and our flexibility needed to be able to do this move. And we're going to focus on this for a few weeks. Now, if you just join in once a week when you do this video, you are not going to get flexible, you are not going to get strong enough to do that. You need to make sure you're practicing these daily, at least 5 times a week, okay? So the first thing we're going to start off with is our back stretches. So we're going to start by laying on the floor in a pencil position. Now you can use the mat or you can use the floor in front of you. Just find your own space. Okay, now we need to be on our tummies for this position. So Sophie, that's okay. If you stay sideways on here and the girls are behind you, then we've got both angles, which is great. Okay, so laying down here. So what we're going to start off with is a Cobra Stretch, okay? Now this is all about having a nice long spine and a nice long neck. So we're going to start by our hands underneath our shoulders, our feet together, our toes pointed, and our head is going to extend out and come up nice and long to create a nice straight line down here and a nice long line here. Now Sophie's shoulders are down. You can see on the girls behind Sophie that all their shoulders are down. Girls, just shrink into your shoulders for me. This is what we want to avoid. We want to avoid that hunched neck. We want to have a nice long pull out. The other thing that's super important, walk your hands in really close to your hips as you can. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Sophie's hips have come off the floor. We do not want that. If we do that, we're not getting the right shape in our back and we're not stretching or opening our shoulders. So we bring our hands forwards until our hips are down and we have a nice long neck. Now we're going to hold each stretch for 30 seconds. Okay, it's a long time, but this is the time we need to hold it for it to make a real difference to us. So are you ready, girls?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to hold our Cobra Stretch up and we're going to bend our feet up to our heads for the 30-second hold, okay? So, let's come down again. Let's go back into that position.
Do I have to go to the floor?
If you would like to go onto the floor, that is absolutely fine by me. Okay, so, hands by your shoulders.
Sorry.
And nice long necks like a turtle coming out of the shell. Keep those feet together. Long backs, long arms, shoulders down. And feet up towards your head. Looking up at the ceiling. And we're gonna hold that. If you need to move your arm forward, that's fine. We're gonna hold that for 30 seconds. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Keep these shoulders long. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Knees together. 9, 10, 11, 12. Keep those hips on the floor. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, well over halfway, 18, 19, 20. Don't start to sink because you're holding it. 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, almost there, 29, 30, good job, and come down slowly. Okay, now after you've held a stretch for a long time, when you release it can feel a bit stiff and a bit crampy. That's fine, okay? All we're doing, the reason we hold the stretch is for 30 seconds. When you're warming up just to take part in normal sporting activity, 10 to 15 seconds is fine, that will warm your muscles up. But when we're trying to increase our flexibility, we need to be aiming for a minute hold, ideally. But it takes at least 30 seconds for your muscles to actually lengthen. So what happens is the muscles start to tear and they reform longer, okay? So that's what we're trying to do. We need to hold our stretches for at least 30 seconds in this class, okay? All right, so we've done our nice Cobra stretch. Now the other thing we're going to need to stretch out because we are in a handstand position is our wrists. So I'm going to ask the girls to come up onto their knees. We're going to put our hands out in front of us. Fingers go clockwise round. Hands down, and we're pushing into our wrists. Now if you can't really feel anything there, you can take your hands up onto your legs. I can't actually do this because I've got wrist injury. I need to keep them down on the floor. Okay, so if you want to take them up onto the legs, then that's absolutely fine. Okay, and we're just going to do slight rocks side to side. We just lost you for a minute, sorry, my battery went. So we need to keep those going side to side, okay? And then round in a circle. Okay, now we're going to also take the backs of our wrists because they're just as important. Same thing, side to side, round in a circle. Okay, now we're not needing to hold our wrist stretching, we're just warming them up because we're going to be on our hands quite a lot. Okay, so we want our fingers in and out. The other one we're going to do, okay, now this one I'm going to face you for. I want you to tuck your thumbs into your fists, okay? So your thumbs are inside your fingers. I want you to put your knuckles together, elbows out, and I want you to put them down on the floor like that. Now, what we're going to try and do is we're going to try and straighten our arms, but we are not allowed to let our fingers come apart or our thumbs pop out or our knuckles come off the floor. So we're going to straighten our arms, keeping our knuckles down, and go as far as we can go without letting our fingers open. Now what starts to happen is if we straighten like that, our fingers pop open. Okay, so we need to keep those fingers closed and go as far as we can, keeping them closed, fighting to not let them open. All right, we're going to hold this 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and relax. Good job. Okay, and give them a little shake. So our arms and our wrists should be nice and warm. Okay, we're going back to our backs. So we're going to focus a bit more on our shoulders and we're going to do our cat stretch next. So we need to be up on all fours. Okay, not happy cat, sad cat. We're going for the cat stretch. So up on all fours. Nice straight line to begin with, and then from there what happened is Sophie's going to keep her hips in line with her knees, and so are all the other girls. No, she's moving her knees right now. She's not listening. So what do, Sophie? Keep her what in line? Knees in line. So why are we moving our knees and our hips? So keep there. So don't let that move, okay? So that's really important that we understand when we're in line. So we want hip to knee needs to be the same. Now from there we're going to move our arms forward, keeping our hips where they are, and try to get our chest to the floor, like you see a cat stretching in the sun. Now Sophie's got good shoulder mobility, really good shoulder mobility, so she's able to get her armpits down towards the ground. For some others we find this quite tricky. For me, for example, when I can't get my chest flat to the floor. So we're going to hold that for 30 seconds. Now, Evie is someone that likes to come out of the stretches early, as she's demonstrating now. So we're going to try and do it all together. Ready? And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Don't let your arms go too wide apart. 6, 7, 8, 9. Bring your hips back, Gracie. 10, 11, 12. Stay there. 13, 14. 15, 16, good, 17, 18, 19, 20, nearly there, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, stay there a little bit longer, and 30, and slowly come back in. So come back in round in the back to come up. Good job. Okay, so it's really important that you see how Sophie came out of that stretch. She came up and curved her spine the other way. All right, good. So we've stretched up our shoulders. We've stretched out our cobra position on the floor. We're now going to open our hips up a little bit. So we're going to kneel up nice and tall. Okay, what we're going to try and do is we're going to reach our hands behind onto our ankles, keeping our knees together. Okay. Now, some of us find this really easy, and that's fine because everyone's flexible in different areas. Now, what Sophie's done is once she's reached forward, she's then going to push her hips this way, okay? And she's going to keep her head back, and we're going to hold that for 30 seconds. Ready? And are we ready, girls? Holding on, hips forwards, and going. 1, 2, head back. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, lovely Nelly. 8, try and get his knees together. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Try and stay really still in the position. Don't keep moving. 14, 15, head. 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Now come down. Now, as you can see, some of our girls really struggle to hold that position, and that's fine. It's a tricky position. But if you break that position, if you come out of the stretch, if you wobble, or if you change your body position, then the stretch becomes invalid and you have to start it again. So if you struggle to hold that stretch there, then what I'd ask you to do is just pause this video and go and try and do that stretch again for 30 seconds and then press play again, because it's really important that we hold that stretch without breaking it. So for Gracie and Evie, who struggled with that stretch then, they're going to need to try that again before they try the full Cobra Handstand. Okay, because we need to make sure that we've completed all of our stretches before doing that. Okay, so it's like I said, when you're in that stretch, for the stretch to work, we've got to hold it for 30 seconds. But if a stretch is really tricky and really hard, for example, if we found that really hard to hold our feet, now I would find that really hard to hold my feet here, I might need to take my hands further back on the floor. So I might need to take my hands back to here and then push up. Okay, because I haven't got the same flexibility as Sophie and some of the other girls. So if you need to take your hands further back to push up, then that's also fine, okay, if you struggle to do that one then. All right, so we've warmed up our backs, we've warmed up our hips, we've warmed up our shoulders. Now, how we get into a handstand is from a what? A lunge. And what muscles do we use in a lunge?
Oh, hips.
Hamstrings, correct. So we have a nice needle in our handstand. So we're going to do a square hip stretch, okay? We're going to do that on both sides, and then we're going to try kicking up into our handstand and holding our cobra position. Now, if you're in a place where you don't have enough space to kick up into a handstand, or do a handstand against the wall, which is another option we'll show you, that's not a problem. Then we can still do all the stretches and all the conditioning to get you ready, so when you are in a big enough space, you can do the handstand safely. Okay, so square hip stretch. We're going to start by kneeling up. Now, for our square hips, so the way I want you to imagine is I want you to imagine that your hip bones have got 2 arrows on them like this. And for our hips to stay square, the arrows must point forwards. and not twist to each side. Okay, so you're going to put one leg in front. Okay, now right now everybody's hips are nice and square. The knee on the back is on the floor and it's not twisting out to one side or the other. So you can see that on Sophie from the side, but you should also be able to see on Taylor and our other gymnast behind that Taylor's legs are straight in line with each other and that her leg isn't going, just take it out to the side for me, her foot's not twisting out to that way or her knee twisting out this way. So she's in a square position, so that's the most important thing, we're nice and square. Now from here, what we're going to do is we're going to push forwards into our hip, okay, we're going to reach our hands towards the floor and we're going to try and extend our front leg out. Okay, now it's really important that our hips stay square and that they don't start to open, okay, and as soon as they start to open, you have to stop. We are not aiming for the splits here, that's something that we should think about. We're not trying to do the splits, we're trying to stretch our hips and our hamstrings. So Nelly, I know we've got a lot more flexibility, so we can go a lot more down here. So Nelly's stretch should stop a little bit lower, okay? So we're aiming for that straight leg, lovely Taylor, keeping this hip twisted behind. Now there's a little test you can do. You can bend your knee up on the ground. If your foot goes directly up to your bottom, you're square. If your foot goes to the other side, you're open, okay? So, it's a really good little test for you. Everyone's looking lovely and square at the moment. Okay, we're going to hold this, like I said, for 30 seconds, but where the girls have already been holding it for some time, I'm going to count them down for 15 seconds. So, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, and we're going to go on to the other side. So, think about, just Sophie's on the hard floor and she seems to be okay with that, as is Taylor. But just think about the fact that you are having your weight down on your knee and you're probably best to have it on a cushion or a mat. Okay, the knee behind you, that is, okay? So we're going to go to the other side now. So, other leg in front. So we're nice and square to begin with. Is your knee directly behind you? Is your foot in line with your knee at the back? Okay. Now, from there, you're going to lunge forwards. Now, before you start that lunge, sorry, another thing I forgot to mention, your ankle should be in a right angle to your knee. If your foot is too close to you like this, you've got nowhere to lunge. So we need to make sure that we've got a square, nice right angle here. So when Sophie starts her lunge, it can keep that square and then she can extend forwards. Okay, ready? So hands down. And keep going. So extend that leg, remember? You don't open. Now it's a bit sticky to try and extend. So I'm going to help her. Okay, so we want a nice pointed toe because we're always trying to make things look nice. Okay? And we're going to hold that 30 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, about there. 10, 11, keep this pushing back, this hip. 12, hip pushing back. 13, if you want to do the leg test, great position. You can. 14, 15, we're halfway. 16, 17, Evie's lost her glasses. 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29 and 30. Okay, just come back in. So we should now be ready to do, we should have all our flexibility elements ready for our handstand. So we've warmed up our shoulders, we've warmed up our hips, we've opened up our hamstrings, we've warmed up our wrists. So all of the bits that we want to, there's loads of other stretches, but they're the core stretches that I wanted to do for that. Now we need to work on our conditioning, and we need to be strong in both our backs and in our shoulders for this position, okay, as well as our core. So we are going to do a dish hold for 30 seconds, otherwise known as a hollow hold in acro. We're going to follow that by 5 close armed press ups. We're then going to follow that by 10 shoulder shrugs, and we're going to finish it off with 15 back raises, okay? So we're going to add all of those together to do our conditioning, and then we're going to finish with the girls one at a time trying the full skill, okay? All right, so we're going to start off. Helen's joined us for conditioning. Again, you can choose to do this on a mat or not. Okay, so we're going to start off with our hollow hold for 30 seconds. So we're going to start off with our hollow hold or our dish hold. Okay, it's really important that this bit of the back is on the floor. So personally, I like to roll down into the position. Some gymnasts and acro people like to start from laying on the floor. So Sophie's got a nice back position here. Her feet and her legs are off the floor, okay? If she starts to arch her back for me, Sophie. So if she starts to do this position, then we need to change what she's doing. And then she can be changed by bringing the legs higher or slightly tucking the knees or bringing the arms down, okay? So the important bit is that we're keeping this on the floor. Push that really deep in the floor. I shouldn't be able to get my hands underneath it. Okay, so this is hard. So we're going to go for 30 seconds. And you might see some shaking, and you might see some people fighting to keep their backs on the floor, but we're going to go for it. Okay, are we ready, girls? That's too high. You don't. So Gracie just asked me if she can be as high, if she can do her position here. Now, and I said that was too high, and the reason why is that turns into a V-sit, which is a different exercise. So when I'm coming into the position, I start up and I roll myself into it, and then extend, and that way I can keep my back into the floor and no gaps. Okay. So that's just my personal preference. You can choose how you get into that position. Okay, are you ready, girls?
Yes.
3, 2, 1, and roll back. And we'll hold in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Keep those feet off the floor. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Arms long. 13, 14. Good toner. 15. 16, don't be too high, August. 17, 18, 19, 20, good. 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, and relax. Now I would say, in all honesty, if we are not comfortable holding a dish for 30 seconds, we shouldn't be trying a Cobra Handstand. That's when we start to rely on our flexibility and not our strength. And for all contortion or for all stretches that are putting our bodies in a risky position, then we need to be strong enough to do that. Okay, so we're going on to our press ups. Now we're going close arm press ups. That means elbows into our sides. Okay, nice straight body. This is a good position. So we're going for 5. We are going to try and keep the legs extended out. If after 1 you realise that we can't keep the leg extended out, we can go and drop onto our knees, okay? But the really important thing here is that the chest is going towards the ground and the elbows are staying in. If Sophie sits back for me, can you guys show from the front? Elbows staying in towards the body. So you see Evie's elbows stay in and they're not going, show me out to the side, out. Okay, so we're keeping the elbows nice and close and pressed to us. So we're going for 5 press ups. Are you ready? 3, 2, 1, and 1, 2, 3. If we're starting to struggle, we can drop those knees. 4, good Sophie. And 1 more, 5. Fantastic. Okay, now back into a press up position. We're going straight into our shoulder shrugs. Okay, so back into a press up position. Now it's really important here that your wrists are underneath your shoulders, that you're not leaning back like this, okay? So we want a straight line position here. Tummy's really super lifted and tight, okay? And all we're going to do is drop into our shoulders and up. So we're not bending our elbows, we are literally, and we're not changing our body shape. We're just shrugging our shoulders. We're going to do 10 of these. Are we ready? Yeah. And 1, 2, 3. Good, Sophie. 4. Good, Evie. 5. Don't bend those elbows, Gracie. 6, 7. So it's really important the elbows don't bend. I've lost count. 8,
10.
9, 10. Good job. So don't let those elbows bend. We're using our shoulder strength. Okay. Now we're on to our last bit of conditioning for today, which is our back lifts. Okay. Now if you've got a parent somewhere close by or a sibling somewhere close by, you can ask them to hold your legs. So lay down, Sophie. Your tummy, that's why I came over here. So you can ask them to hold your legs like this. So you hold your ankles. Now she's going to put her hands by her ears. Bend your elbows, Sophie, put your hands by your ears. And so your elbows like this. I forgot you haven't done these. And lift up, head. There we go, good. Now, when we lift up, we don't want our head to come up first. So pull your head back first, Sophie. We don't want that. That's not very nice, and it's not very nice for our spines. We want this to lift up all together in one position, okay? And your head should stay in line with your arms and hands. Okay, now if you've got someone to hold your legs, that's great. But if not, I can move to the side and Sophie can still do the lift. Okay, it's not a problem, it's just slightly harder. Okay, so I'm going to give the girls an option here. You can choose to partner up and you can do 5 and your partner can do 5. Or you can stay on your own and do 10. We won't do 15, we'll do 10 just for time. But if you want to carry on and do 5 more, you're more than welcome. Okay, ready? 3, 2, 1. And lifting up. 1, 2, 3, 4. Don't start to arch. 4, 5. So control it. 6, 7, 8, 9, and last one, 10. Good. Remember, don't let that head lead you. Well done. So that is all your conditioning and all your stretches. Now, if you've got enough safe space or you've got a really good wall, my tip would be to try your handstand against a wall first. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask Nelly to go and stand by the wall over there, just because I know you'll be able to see her from here. Okay, so she's going to come to this wall just here. She's going to turn around and she's going to kick up into a handstand against the wall. Now from there she's going to keep her head up, she's going to bend her knees underneath, and she's going to try and make that cobra position against the wall, so she can use the wall to balance. Now keep your head up so you're trying to look at the wall, Nelly. That's it. Okay, so she's heading for that position against the wall. Now if you've got a wall to try it on, that would be my starting point. Okay, so ready, Nelly, come down. Good girl. Okay. For those of you that haven't, then that's fine. We just keep working on the flexibility and the strength. Now I promise these girls they can all have a go at the full skill at the end, so we're going to do that. So come and line up at the mats. Okay. Right. So August. So arms up nice and tall. We're going to hit into that handstand. And we're going into that position. Nice. Good girl. Okay. Lovely. Well done. Good job. Next person. So we want to hit the handstand first and then bend our legs over, not go straight over into the cobra. Okay, good. So hit the handstand first. Good, and then come over. Good girl. Arms. Okay, and Gracie, hit the handstand first. Okay, and then come down. Good. Well done. Okay. Sophie. Good. And then into the cobra. Good. Nice lowering there. Good girl. Okay. Good. Well done. Good job. And Taylor. Stand up for Taylor. Okay. Good. Good girl. Well done. Good. So that is our Cobra Handstand, and we'll carry on working on that next week. From me and all the girls, see you later!